In this video, we'll be walking through adding services to the service master list of TPS. This is where all your service information will be stored and where it can be edited at a later time. Let's go ahead and get started by clicking Next. And the first thing we have here is the service category. If you went ahead and set up some categories earlier, you'll have some in this drop-down, such as exams or X-ray. Go ahead and select exams for now, and I'll click Next. Here we can add the CPT code for this service. Enter the most commonly used CPT code for this service, and if you need to make any modifications such as modifiers or change the code for a particular carrier, you can do so in the carrier policy setup later when we go through that video in the wizard. For now, I'll just put in a code and then click Next. Here we have the name of the service. This is what will appear as it's charged to the patient on any patient statements you send out and within the program itself. Go ahead and type in the name as new patient exam, and then I'll click Next. Here we have service type, which we can select if necessary. This is typically used for electronic billing. Click Next. Again, service code source when needed for electronic billing. Here's the base customary fee charged in the office for a particular service. Let's go ahead and say $30 for our new patient exams. If a carrier has a certain allowable amount or you need to change the price dependent on a certain carrier, this is again done later on in the insurance policy section and will be covered in a later video. Go ahead and click Next. Here we have whether the service is counted towards a deductible or not. Typically services are, so we can check this off so that it will go towards the patient's deductible if they have one. Go ahead and click Next. Here we have the source location typically found in box 24B. Click Next. Here we have the source type, typically located in box 24C on a HCFA. Click Next. Here we have the days and or units field. Typically a service will only be 1 unit or day, but in the case of some physical therapies, some codes are inherently in 15-minute units, so you can change this to 2 or 3 depending on the situation. We're going to go ahead and leave this as 1, and click Next. Here we have the production category section. When you click this drop-down, you can see a list of production categories. This is not the same as the service or inventory categories that you may have set up earlier. These are categories set up that allow you to organize your data in specific ways to reports found in TPS. Selecting exam or X-ray also allows you to update certain dates that are tracked by the program automatically. I'm going to go ahead and select exam, as this is a new patient exam, and then click Next. The per unit value, put in 1, then click Next. If necessary, and you're doing HIPAA institutional electronic billing, select the revenue code associated with the service if it's applicable, and then click Next. Here we have the service value code, occupational therapy, physical therapy, or speech therapy, again associated with the HIPAA institutional billing. Click Next. Here we have the providers associated with this service. Now, when you set up the program, you may have one provider or you might have multiple providers. In the instance of multiple providers, you may want some providers to deliver some services and other providers to deliver other services, while some providers may deliver all services. In this list, we can select those providers by clicking on them, and it'll highlight blue. If I did not want Joe here to be able to deliver the new patient exam, I would hit the Control key, as it says in the tip here, and then left-click him again, so that he is deselected and no longer blue. Since he's our only provider currently, we'll go ahead and select him so he can deliver the new patient exam. Once you're finished, go ahead and click Next. Here, if we were to create a group service, we would see all the services in the system so far, where we could lump them into one group service. What the group service accomplishes is it creates a sort of convenient way for you to deliver up to 2 or more services at once without having to select them individually each time. For instance, let's say you had a new patient package where they got an exam, an adjustment, and something else. You could select all those services at once to be lumped under a group service, and when you selected that group service, it would deliver all 3 services immediately, instead of having to select each one individually. Go ahead and click Next again. Down here we have the button to review services in inventory sort order. If you were to click it, a new window will appear over here on the left. Here we have the new patient exam that we've entered, as well as the exercise bands that we entered in the inventory section. If I click and drag this square down, I move the new patient exam down in the sort order. Exercise bands is now at the top, with new patient exam at the bottom, and everything else in between. Now let's say new patient exam was one of my best-selling services and I delivered it all the time. I wouldn't want to be scrolling down at the bottom of any list, so I would click it and drag it to the top to make sure that it was at the top where I need it at all times. Let's say exercise bands aren't that popular, so I drag them to the bottom. Down here in the bottom left, we have the Rearrange and Sort by Categories button. If I were to click it, a new window appears here in the middle. Instead of organizing by individual services like over here, I can organize by service and inventory categories. So let's say exams are my number one category. I could move that to the top. And I'm not really concerned with all categories, so I move that to the bottom. And I make the default inventory category my second most popular. Once I'm finished rearranging them, I click Save Sort Order to File. It'll ask if I want to resort the items by category and name, and I'll click Yes. And here we can see that the sort order is now by the category that I selected in the previous window. Once finished, I can click Save Sort Order, and next time I open my services screen, that sort order will be saved as I just arranged it. Once you're finished ordering them as you like, go ahead and click the Next button, and then a few more times until we see the Send Description in 837-2400. These checkboxes all pertain to the ANSI X12 electronic billing section, which will be discussed in later videos. For now, click Next, and let's go ahead and add another item by clicking Yes. Go ahead and click Next to get started, and this time we're going to do an X-ray. Enter the CPT code, click Next, the service description, X-ray, service type I'll leave alone, same with this, and my price is going to be a little higher, something like $80. Now click Next. This will go towards deductibles. Click Next again. My service source location and source type are the same, so I'll go ahead and leave those alone. 1 unit. This time I'll go ahead and select the X-ray production category. Click Next. Leave this as it was. I'm not doing HIPAA institutional billing, so I'll leave that alone. Same with the service value code. Dr. Joe will be allowed to deliver the X-ray. And this isn't a group service, so I don't have to worry about that. My order is fine. And I'm not doing electronic billing right now, so I'll go ahead and leave this alone. I now have added 2 services into my master list. You're going to have a lot of work to do as you add your services into the program, and you can do this through the wizard by clicking Yes again to add the next item, or you can continue through the wizard and add your services at a later time. Before we finish though, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to add a group service real quick by exiting the tutor. So go ahead and click No, because we're not going to add another item through the wizard. We're going to hit No again, and it's going to let us know that when we start the wizard up, we can go ahead and return to the last step we completed. Hit OK. I'm going to hit the yellow folder up here with the magnifying glass to open my menu. And go to Master Files, because that's what we're looking for. And at the very bottom we have Services. Now I want to add a new service, so I'm going to hit the plus button here at the top to add a new record. And it's going to ask me if I want to copy the basic information of the service. If I hit yes, it'll keep all the information except the CPT code and the description. So that would be the price, service location, etc. So if you're adding similar services or services in the same category, this can save you a lot of time. I'll get a completely blank screen. Let's go ahead and hit no for now so we can enter all new information. I'll select a category, group services, and down here you can see that I have my X-ray and my new patient exam. Now the CPT code you can just put in a place number here because it's going to use the individual CPT codes associated with these services. Let's call the group service the new patient package. And I'll leave these as unknown, blank. The price can be left alone because the individual prices of the services will be charged rather than a price set in the group services section. Source location, units. Now, when I go to select the services, similar to how I select my doctors, I can hit and hold the control key, which is found in the bottom left of my keyboard, and select each service I want in my group. If I wanted all three, I could select finance charge, but I'm not going to include that. Once I'm finished, I can close out, and the information is saved to my service master list. And that concludes setting up services in your master list. Let's go ahead and continue on to the next video.